dum 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 dum
Space between space between.
I've been haunted by a memory recently.
Ooh, I just had a thought though, really quick. I should go get my phone in case Uber Eats tries to call me.
Yeah, but you can't put it too close to the fucking microphone.
All right.
Wow. Episode 101. You know, episode 101.
That's how we're starting this.
I was going in hot. And then all of a sudden, we're derailed. That's what the name of the podcast is. The Amy and Pat Shand Derailed Podcast. Fuck!
Sorry.
Ooh, imagine, you know? Imagine being married to her.
Yeah,
Actually,
iced Americano.
some of you guys can't imagine me being married to her, which is what our comments is full of. And guess what? All I have to say to you is this. I am. And there's fucking nothing you could do about it. Okay? Nothing!
It's true.
We're married.
He is.
Fucking believe it or not. Ripley's, okay?
I don't think I would go that far.
Fuck. They some of the comments you would think, right, that my mom shat me out, okay? Okay? And that what happened to you is
Haters, they gonna hate. And players, they gonna play.
what happened to you
Ballers,
is
they gonna ball.
that God spent a little bit more time on you, you know? That's what they make it seem like, fuckers, you know? But I'm haunted by a memory, and it's not that. The memory that I'm haunted by is this. I once, when I was about 16 or 17, maybe 18, went to a karaoke night, right? I was with my friends, and I went up on stage around peers and older people, mostly older people, and I sang Blink-182's All the Small Things, and I screamed it because I was practicing being in a band. And then during the chorus, I skanked.
Nice.
You know what that is, huh?
I do.
Yeah.
I used to try to do that when I was younger.
I'm not good at it.
Me either.
I'm not good at it. But I did it on stage alone. And people just stared at me, you know? Because who wouldn't?
What made you think of that?
I don't know.
Oh.
I've just been... I have this thing where I'll look back at cringy memories. And I'll be like, ugh, yuck, ew. I was like, ew, that was me. If we saw that on stage, my response would be, ah.
I wish it was on video.
I'm so happy it's not. There's a video, though, of my one and only performance with my band, Novela Kiss, right? Where there's pictures, and in the pictures, I'll say this, I look pretty cool in the pictures.
I'm sure.
I'll put one right here.
Can't wait.
Okay? But the video, I was trying too hard to be like Adam Lazar from Taking Back Sunday, which he had a gimmick, and I stole the gimmick, okay? I took... What?
Go ahead.
Interrupt one more fucking story,
go
you
ahead.
know? I took the microphone, and I would swing it, you know? And I thought I was so fucking dope. I thought I was so cool. Now, what did you ask me about? What's wrong here? The cat fell? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Bring it over here. It's still okay, everybody.
Everything's fine.
All right, so now
I like that.
we have a guest today. I'm going to invite her in right now. This is a very professional podcast.
Yeah, I feel like
Say it.
unprepared today for some reason.
Yeah, you're acting like it, you know? What would you have done to prepare usually?
I don't know.
Sent, I'll say, on live on our podcast, okay? Oh, you fucked the blanket up.
Oh.
Fix it. So, do you normally prepare for the podcast?
No, I just don't.
And just for the record, I scratched the inside of my nose right now. Didn't pick it, but I will pick it on there. I don't care. I would.
And you didn't, though?
I scratched it.
Oh. I thought you said something else. Sorry.
You're not prepared. Get out of here.
No, I'm ready now.
No, I'm doing this alone. This one's just me.
I'm ready now.
It's just me and Kathryn Calamia. Okay?
Somewhere.
Get out of here, True.
No, I'm ready.
Tell them what it means when I say true and where we got that from.
It means true wow, translation, true love. And that's our language.
For those who didn't understand her mumbles, true glow, she said. And didn't enunciate, you know?
G-L-A-U.
Yes.
Wow.
It means love. And I do love her, even though this episode she has me questioning everything, you know? It's the 101st episode.
Nice. Congratulations, us.
Congratulations, me.
We made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did it.
So here you are wearing a hat indoors, you know?
It's because my hair's getting really long. And so when I take a shower and I get it wet, this helps me like keep it down. So by the time it dries, it's in like a decent shape.
I think you look good.
Thank you.
What the
There's a
fuck?
lot of noise going on outside.
Oh, man.
They're like maintaining the lawn outside or some shit.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with this podcast right now? We're derailed already, okay?
It's because we're waiting for a guest. So like, I guess what I'm not prepared for is like a solo episode, which this basically is right now.
No, I mean, I went in on purpose because here's the thing. We're not doing the 2 a week anymore.
Oh, shit.
So I just wanted to give them a little taste of just us before we have Kat in. And Kat's here right now.
Good timing.
Was that... You weren't prepared for a fucking 4 minutes alone with your husband, you know?
No, just on camera.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Everyone get ready.
Whee.
It says connecting to the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, what's up? Do you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear.
Yep.
And I have to tell you this.
Perfect.
We're already recording the podcast. We're already going.
You're
okay?
in.
Great. Well, I'm excited. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining
Oh, yeah.
us.
Oh, look at that. You have the pop filter.
Yeah, I like that.
I do. Oh yeah. It was
Yeah.
like $5 on Amazon.
Really?
It's not. Yeah. But I got it like for a Black Friday sale. So
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
professional.
actually got this for like less than 100, like the actual blue,
Look at you.
whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. We have that too, but it's been not connecting to our Zoom. I had to sneeze,
Really?
but just so you know, I don't have the coronavirus. Sneezing is not a symptom of the coronavirus, okay?
Just don't cough.
And that's
Right.
scientific facts from Pat Chan.
There we go. So hi, welcome to our podcast. This is Kathryn Calamia.
Hey, I'm glad to be on.
You are known as...
I hope you don't hear like a toilet just flushing, but
I don't know how much we're going to be able to pick up. I didn't catch it then, but that's funny. Yeah, we were just talking about the lawnmower outside.
Yeah, no, I did.
all right, good.
I didn't hear that. And hold on.
How'd you flush the toilet from right there? That's wild.
Well, yeah, right? It's crazy. That's my superpower, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I know that girls can't really do this, but sometimes if I'm on a long business meeting, I get stuck there and I have to make the call. Do I A, hold my pee, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do I B, tell the person I'm going to be right back and call them back?
Mm-hmm.
Or C, do I try to be a silent killer, you know?
Thus, we were gone for like less than 2 hours. So we were away from the house playing Pokemon, and Pat acted like he was on a freaking 10-hour road trip.
Whoa.
Peed in a cup the other day. It was actually May 24th that he did that, the day of his birth.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
I would say it's a little harder for us. We don't have that superpower.
You could buy something to
sadly.
do that, though.
Right.
You could buy
yeah.
something that you like attach to yourself that you can like pee down, like for camping.
Oh, there's an episode of Orange is the New Black
Sorry, Kat.
where I think Poussey creates
Yeah.
the Shiwi.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a different topic, okay? We're happy to welcome you to the podcast. Let's just get right into it. You have a Kickstarter launching. I mean, hold on. All right, so this episode... Oh, first of all, we have to cover the elephant in the room. Amy is a mess right now. Bringing the blanket down, again. Do you want me to go tuck it in deeply?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It sounds like you want to, so.
There we go. It's in there.
You're sick.
Okay. So you have a Kickstarter launching. It is... All right. Actually, it's probably already going to be gone by the time that we put this out. So, it's for your series Like Father, Like Daughter. And, we just want to talk a little bit about that, just about life, about how things are going for you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I have a Kickstarter, which is great. I feel like everyone's launching a Kickstarter in June, which is kind of crazy. I guess because of the lack of comics, everyone's like, let me launch my Kickstarter now. But it's officially launched as we talk about this while you watch this. June 1st, it's going to launch. Yeah. And it's about a high school girl. Father left her to become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him except for her. And then she inherits his abilities. And with this Kickstarter, we really focused on variant covers, which is cool. We have a lot of cool artists. Evie Katata does The Dancer, my other book. Also, Comic Girl, who's like a DC TV kind of fan artist who does like really cool cartoonier art. So we have that and some cool prints as well. So I'm really excited about the whole Kickstarter. We also have a Pride cover drawn by Wayne because one of the characters is bisexual. So I'm really excited to tell that story, and I thought it was a perfect time to do that cover.
That's exciting.
Yeah. How would you pitch the story to those unfamiliar? Because you're 6 issues in now?
Yeah.
The trade just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what would you compare it to? Because it's not part of the Short Fuse universe, right? It's its own specific thing.
Yeah, so it's its own story, totally just indie, creator-owned stuff. What would I compare it to? Everyone who reads the script says Invincible, but with a girl. I definitely didn't do that on purpose, and honestly, I don't even think I read Invincible at that point. Like, I've read all of Invincible now, but at that point, I don't think I've read it all. But I would say it's definitely more about the family drama. Like, I think the superhero stuff is second, and it takes second.
Yeah, I was explaining it to my best friend earlier on text message because I was talking about how we were having you on the podcast and stuff. And, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just, like, shortly explained to her that, like, it's like a teenage girl. Her dad's a superhero, and he gives everyone all this attention and, like, saves the world, but he doesn't give her the attention that she needs as, like, a daughter.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's also kind of like the gray area of, like, he's a perfect superhero. He does everything right. He literally disbanded his own identity as, like, a person just to be this one superhero, to be like, if Superman didn't have Clark Kent, it was just Superman and just doesn't have a life and just saves people. And is that a good thing? You're saving these people, but you also left your daughter to do so. And I think it's such a trope in comics where you don't tell your loved one you're a superhero because you don't want to hurt them. So you leave your daughter because you don't want to hurt her. And then you realize, oh God, I hurt her even more because I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a cool concept. I love stories that have an element of genre, but really focus more on the people. Because I feel like so many comics especially really just dive deep into the genre and really just follow the 3-act structure. But I love those slice of life stories that focus more on people and how these genre elements like superhero or fantasy or sci-fi, that is the backdrop for the human drama.
100% agree. Those are my favorite stories, and I feel we get a lot of that in webcomics, right? Like, but not the traditional comic. But I think indie creators can do that and kind of have a cool mix of webcomics / webtoons tapas and put it into real. I would say put it on comic shelves, which is really cool, and let people kind of know about that side of comics because there's so many obviously different sides of comics that people don't look into completely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is a superhero comic, like, for the viewers too, and if without spoiling too much, if you want to, like, what would be an example of one of the powers that she, like, inherits?
Yeah, so we do find out a second power that she has that the father doesn't, which I won't spoil that way if you guys haven't read it. But the main powers that are introduced, like first issue, is invulnerability, super strength, and super speed. Because again, I just want to make him the most generic superhero you can, because he is the analog of the superhero to kind of break down
like the
what is a
Incredibles.
superhero. Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
I'll be
exactly.
right back. It's because Uber called me.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting coffee right now. But what was I gonna say? Oh, so yeah. You mentioned earlier that you're on Kickstarter in a time when there's a rush of Kickstarters, and I'll tell you this: I had my Kickstarter going previous to this for Cherry Gilbert Necromancer, and that was it ran from April until about mid-May. And when I first launched, I was worried because we're in this time when a lot of people don't have jobs right now because of the pandemic, and finances can be a little tight. I was concerned that there wasn't going to be a support system on Kickstarter that there usually is. But what I found was what you said was that there's this there's an opening in the market for people who still want to buy comics and want to read comics. So I think that you're launching at a really great time because there's that there's that space for this right now.
And we're seeing even like the big creators doing it too, which I think it shows like more of a space of people accepting Kickstarter a little bit more. So you have like Jeff Lemire, and obviously Jimmy Palmiotti has been doing it for a while, but there's just so many like big time creators, because if you look at it, like for these creators also, they can make more money doing it this way because you don't have to share it with a publisher. And it's like kind of the perfect way to talk directly to your fans. And I think actually coronavirus and this whole entire thing is gonna change the comic market, obviously, but I do think it's gonna change the comic market towards Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I do want to ask you though, and if you don't want to answer or if you want to end up cutting this out, that's fine. But Jimmy Palmiotti feels grandfathered in because he's one of the pioneers of doing comics on Kickstarter. But something does rub me the wrong way when a newer big name, and I think that Jeff Lemire is one of the best writers in comics ever.
Oh, for sure.
It does rub me a little the wrong way when really established creators put on a Kickstarter and don't even do a video. And I don't know. I just feel that some creators put out a concept and really bank on their name, while other creators really lean into what Kickstarter is and follow what other campaigns are doing and break new ground in their own way, but also you could see the respect for the platform through the campaigns. And yeah, I don't know, it just does rub me the wrong way because I've put so much work into my Kickstarters. When I look at a campaign from a really established name and think, wow, I could have put this campaign together in 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. I don't know if that's just me or if I'm just being a hater, because I see campaigns.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree completely. But I also think, to go a little deeper, it's also like the people who kind of made their name on Kickstarter, like you, Pat, like you're also so supportive of other people on Kickstarter. I think for the bigger creators, it's just like, this is a platform to put my comic out. And they don't understand that you have to back up other projects and you have to support other people as well, and not just your friends in the industry, and support the up and coming, because that's what Kickstarter is all about too, is kind of the marriage of everybody together. So I think that's also a kind of a B-side to that, is that you have to like recognize the community as much as you recognize your community, the traditional community. You should recognize the new community and make relationships with those people.
And that's exactly right. Like Kickstarter, I couldn't think of a better word for it than an online community. So once you get on there, no matter how great your piece of work is, it's really beneficial to go and make your name in the community and be someone that people want to support.
Yeah.
You yourself, not just the book or whatever,
Yeah, and I feel that there's this kind of false separation between the comics community at large and the Kickstarter comics community, because we do operate so differently. Most Kickstarter books don't end up being shipped through Diamond to the direct market, but I think that there's a big overlap between the reader base. So I do agree that comics creators in Kickstarter need to be as willing to market with one another as we are in the normal, like the standard comics community. Because the comics community on Twitter in general is just very, very interwoven, where if, say, if someone pisses someone off, you know, everyone really kind of knows about it. And in Kickstarter, I don't know, it feels sort of like when really established creators break into it, they sort of treat it more like they do working with a new publisher rather than working with a community.
100%. And I think that's what needs to change if they're using the platform, is just, especially if you're using it frequently, which I think a lot of people are going to be doing. I think there's signs of that. Like real old school creators are doing it too. Jim Starlin just, well, not just, but like a month ago, I think around during the time of your Kickstarter, Pat, he launched a character that was like in traditional comics and then woven into a Kickstarter comic. So, which is kind of blows your mind. But yeah, I think they just need to understand Kickstarter a bit more, and I think open up to new creators. And I know it's hard because I think there's all different type of creators on Kickstarter, and you know, some are very up and coming, some have been established. So I understand it's hard, but like you should take the time to look at the projects to see which ones you like. You don't have to like every single one of them, but try to connect to the people you do like. Yeah,
I feel that actually, so someone that fits what you just said is Ron Randall, who does Trekker. Trekker was already published through Dark Horse. It already existed, but it's his longtime creator-owned project. And when he moved to Kickstarter, he didn't treat it like it was just a new publisher of the many he's working with. He really dove in. He's I've seen him in person since then. He's supportive of everyone's Kickstarters, and it's just really cool to see these veterans doing that. Because I feel like there's sometimes, and the more that I've been in comics, the more I get this. I didn't earlier, but there is a sort of bitterness in some of the older veterans because comics is an industry that there's no retirement plan. There's no guarantee of work in the future. It feels like it follows the cool young creators for a while. They get all the high-paying projects, and then by the time that they're older, they don't really capture the voice of what comics is anymore, according to these publishers. So you have older creators who used to be so hot, who are now kind of more doing their own thing. Sometimes because they're not working for Marvel or DC, I feel a bitterness in them, but I used to get so angry at that. But now I understand it more, and I've been able to see creators like Terry Moore, for example, who he's been doing...
Terry Moore is great.
Oh, he's amazing. He's been doing his own thing for years, and in him, I've seen my ideal representation of what I want to be when I get older, you know, like, and not to say I'm very young and he's old, but he's a veteran. He's been doing it for decades, and I hope that in the years to come, that when new platforms pop up, like a new Kickstarter or something, that creators are trying out new things, like maybe even Webtoon gets even bigger. I
think it will. Next 5 years, Webtoons will be huge.
I think so too. I hope that I can dive into these new platforms with grace and with respect for the people already doing it, you know?
And I think what's interesting is, like, yeah, I do agree some creators have bitterness, but I think it's also not understanding the market, the new type of market for comics, because comics have changed so much, just like any other media. And I think if they understood who they were targeting, they'd have an easier time and understand they don't have to be bitter, because people are still looking for their type of comics, and they're still looking for the old school comics. And if you want to target that and that's what you think you're good at, continue to do that, because there's a market out. Just know, just like everything, you can't target everybody, and you're targeting specific markets, just like everything else in storytelling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No matter where I've worked or what kind of content the publishers put out, like, for example, Zenescope, right? That's a kind of book, and I've even seen creators, like, there's this one Bleeding Cool piece that Mark Waid, I don't know if he wrote it or he was interviewed, but he said that he doesn't know who those books are for. And in my head, I was like, oh, that's a very narrow point of view, because I've worked their booths, and their booths are always crazy popping. Like, if I were a reader, I don't know if I would gravitate toward picking up a book with a Zenescope cover. Probably not. But that's for someone. There's something for everyone. Like, for example, Brian Pulido, who does Lady Death. Those comics have a very 90s bad girl aesthetic. But even though that isn't in vogue with the main comics crowd now, those are, bar none, the most successful Kickstarters.
They also play with like gimmicks of 90s too, because they know they're very much targeting those people. I think they had like the metal covers or whatever it was, so they know what they're doing, and it's just just understanding. I think if you're launching anything, you should understand who you're launching it for. Just understand. It's like if you're going to a pitch meeting, you're either comics or television, they're gonna ask like, who is this targeted for? And if you don't have an answer, then you're probably not ready to give a pitch.
Then the answer's no one.
Yeah.
So who is your book targeted for?
I would say I will say that I had a different target doing this comic, and then realized my target was the complete opposite. So when I did this, I was like, oh, this is for teenage girls to show them that they're represented. But then I realized this is for dads. Like, they connect with the book even more than the teenage girls.
That's
so
cool.
People that have grown up with comics and like have a family is actually the target. So I guess families in general, but somehow the dads are the ones who kind of come back to the booth or like buy the books more. And obviously the girls like it, but it's always the dads who have like a ton of passion about it.
That's awesome.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Something about a dad and daughter relationship too. It's like very touching.
It is. I find myself following dad and daughter reaction videos on YouTube. I'll just watch these dads and daughters sit down and react to like rap videos or funny videos. Yeah, it's cute.
When I was little, I definitely called myself a daddy's girl for sure. Yeah.
And I think what's so interesting about a dad and daughter relationship, which is why I think I'm attracted to telling these stories, is that a lot of times in media, like the tough dad is like, I want a son and teach him baseball and all this. And I think there's this interesting middle ground for modern feminism or whatever, that it doesn't have to be that. You can have a daughter. I do think it also doesn't mean that you have to be like protective of your daughter. You should treat them same way as you would treat a son. And I think we're getting to that point. But I think it's just such an interesting dynamic to kind of have that male-female dynamic.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you don't see that often.
For sure.
If we had a kid, we always talk about this, that I would want it for sure to be a daughter. Like, we'll be out and I'll see like a nerdy girl walking,
like a cute little 6-year-old with like a book in her hand and like really thick rimmed glasses.
Yeah, but I'll be like, oh, that's my daughter.
He goes, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's cute.
Yeah. But all right. So is this because you previously worked with Short Fuse? Is this through them, or is this through someone else, or just through you, or how are you handling this one?
So this one is just through me, which is cool. So I've been kind of pivoting like Follow My Daughter to just be for my own company. I am actually tag teaming with Short Fuse during this company too. So don't think that is like, oh man, we're not working together at all. But yeah, we're doing more of like cross promotion stuff. So my book is not part of their roster anymore. It is all for my stuff. But like we were just talking about, the indie comic book community should work together and promote each other. So what we're doing is that they have a book, American Dreams, written by Daniel Kaplan, and he has his Kickstarter pretty much launching at the same time. So we're both doing prints. So if you buy both of the books or support both of the books, you get a print from me and him. And there's also a stretch goal that's gonna be Short Fuse related. So it's through me, but again, doesn't mean that we aren't teaming up with each other, and everyone should team up with each other in the indie community.
Yeah, I mean, you and I had done that before, where I think it was your trade paperback and My Gangster Ass Barista, maybe. Yeah,
we did a print for that, and
that was really cool. I like doing those crossover things, like even just down to updates. Like, I love when comics creators reach out and be like, can you feature my stuff in an update on Kickstarter? And the answer is always yes, because I want to see other people succeed. Like, there's nothing more depressing than when I see a campaign that I backed and that I pushed and supported not go through. I mean, especially when they almost make it. It's just so... Yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh, for sure. We're actually, so Brant, who you know from Comic Frontline, he's doing his Last Ember Kickstarter, and we literally are launching at the same exact time.
Yeah.
We have this beautiful print from this Twitter artist, which we'll definitely show when that comes out.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been working together, and then we actually made a Facebook group with a lot of people launching their Kickstarter, and we just kind of made all these cross promotion plans through like Kickstarter updates and just promoting on social media. So yeah, very important, and I agree. Just support each other, and I just wish every Kickstarter will make its goal, because it brings Kickstarter as a more reliable source to get your comic books.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that because I've had conversations with people. There was one person who I worked with a bit, and she asked me if it was a bad idea for her to launch her campaign around the same time as me, because I wrote the script for her story, and it was going to be just their company's Kickstarter, and she didn't want to just overload Kickstarter. And I said, no. I mean, the truth is that I think that the Ice Cream Man's here. That's so crazy to me.
That happened to me literally like less than an hour ago. I'm like, why is Lickety Split going around the corner?
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out like when he gives the ice cream.
Is he like using a pogo stick?
Yeah. Does he have like a stick, like one of those claws that old people have to like grab a remote? You know. Or
does he even sell ice cream? Like, it's just like, at this point, how are you even selling anything? Is anyone going to your truck?
Yeah, maybe he's just going for a joyride.
Your time?
You know?
Yeah.
Or maybe
with
like
the music on, he's just like, I miss this.
Yeah. He just or maybe right, he has like Venmo, and he has the kids stand like a few yards away, and then he gets Venmo'd, and then he goes, "Go long," you know, and just throws like a milkshake at them, you know.
And the kids Venmo him back somehow. They're like 8 and they have Venmo.
Yeah, right? I mean, you know what? That's our future, though, for real.
No. Paper is going to be extinct by the time I'm extinct.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one day, we, the three of us, are going to be the people that can't figure out the modern technology. Like my mom, right?
Sure.
I love her so much, and she does pretty well.
She's getting better.
Yeah, she's getting better. But she struggles like we've grown up with this technology, so we have an instinctual response. So I'm trying to teach her how to do raids in Pokemon Go, right? And she can remote raid now, but teaching her, it's like I have to say the same thing over and over again. Like I say, there's a screen, and under the gym, there's a rating for the raid, right? There's 4 stars for a really hard raid, 5 for an impossible one for you to do alone, 2, 3, 1. And under that, there's a view button. If you press the view button, you can go in the raid. And she's like, okay, so I press the 4 stars. I'm like, nope, press view. It's the only button. The 4 stars, if you press it, nothing happens. Press view. And she goes, what happens if I press the 4 stars? I'm like, nothing. Press view, you know? But we had that instinctual thing that, oh, that's the button. I know to press that without even looking it up. So I wonder what it's going to be. Like, what?
We, like, learn as it changes, whereas, like, people of your mom's generation, it kind of just all came at once, and they just didn't have a need to learn it. So they were just like, no. But even still, like, when the Facebook Live thing changed, we were reluctant to even move to it, and then we didn't have a choice but to move to it.
Right.
And we were like, what the fuck?
And I haven't even figured out how to stream this to Facebook Live. Like, I think what it is that we don't pay for Zoom. So we have to pay for it and be able to get a code for it. But I don't know. I feel it coming, you know? I feel we're rounding on technology that we're going to suddenly be the old people, you know?
Oh, for sure. But then I do wonder, though, because we grew up, like Amy was saying, we kind of grew up with it. Will we just be able to
go with it?
I guess quickly go with it. I don't know. Unless like something like the internet is created, like holograms or whatever. We're just like, this is not for me. And then the kids figure it out and they were like, well, you know, I don't know how to do this hologram stuff. I think that's the only way. 'Cause I think we know the internet so well. It's just like,
Or like
I
at
don't
some
know. I feel
point,
like we can gradually understand it.
Yeah, like at some point, like all professors and teachers are like AI robots.
Yo.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, AI robots show up and we're just like, I don't know
kind
this.
of just like, what the fuck? Like my 5th grade teacher was the shit.
Yeah.
And he was a human.
What if there becomes technology where they can recreate like all the aspects of the best grade 5 teacher and put them all in one teacher?
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
like
cool.
that, honestly.
That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
like that would be for the better. But then you obviously have teachers going out of work and all that. But you do see those creepy Android stuff, like on like YouTube and stuff, like where they're like close to getting to it. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, to me that's fucking playing with fire, though. You know, like that's. I don't know, but she loves that. Amy wants to buy an Android. Okay.
I want to buy.
Like now or like when they get better?
Right now.
I want to buy a specific one, actually.
You want to talk about it or no?
No.
Okay.
Well, I hope your dreams come true and you get your Android. And I hope in the next couple of years it's a better Android. It's like the best version.
That'd be cool if she could do the dishes and stuff.
That's what I was talking about. Like the Android that you want to buy.
It still can't do enough. Like I would
tech,
want to
it's not there yet.
I would want it. I don't want to talk about it. I'd want it to be a human.
Yeah. What kind of freaks me out is I saw Elon Musk on Joe Rogan talking about how he sees in the next 5 years that we're gonna have chips in our heads and we're gonna be able to do that kind of stuff. Where
I could see that though. I know
5 years
I had
though, you know?
not
Like,
a
what
friend,
would the chip
but
do besides local?
like a high school person that I knew, like he started like putting chips in his body to like open cars. Like, gosh.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's probably where phones are going, where you don't
Was
need.
he like a weird like Russian exchange student?
No, he was like Staten Island.
You know, because that reminds me of like FBI type shit.
Yeah.
Like undercover cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just really liked technology. He just really wanted to open a car with a chip in his finger.
That would be sick.
It's just weird.
What?
Yeah, but would you want to do that? Like, I don't know if I want to put a chip in my body, especially government stuff. It's just like, then you're owned by the government. You're done.
just feel
Big
like-
Brother is here.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff, even piercings and stuff, when you put things in your body itself just says like hell no. Like I've had surface piercings and whatnot where my body has like rejected it, so I would be afraid that my body would like react in a horrible way and be like, this is not supposed to be here, sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
True.
that's very scary. Yeah.
It's like a foreign object. You have to. That's common.
Yeah, but also that also makes me wonder. Like a great example, in modern day, my dad, he used to be scared of hotel key cards. He thought that they put your credit card information on hotel key cards and that people could walk around with little scanners, like boop boop, steal your identity through your hotel key card. And my
Sci-fi film.
Exactly. And my brother, he bought me for my birthday a Netflix gift card, and he said he wouldn't send it in the mail because he's afraid someone's going to steal his identity through the card that he purchased, even though it's just Netflix money, you know? Hold on.
Yeah.
Raven Gregory is calling me. He always does this shit. He'll call
He's
me.
gonna call you like 8 more times now.
Yeah, he'll call me once and then he won't stop. It's a lot. But so I wonder, like, say in 40 years, right? We're older. We're concerned about the idea of putting chips in us. Are the kids gonna be like, yo, my dumb uncle doesn't know that it's so fucking safe to just put a chip in you, dude, you know?
Well, if it was like if it was like a widespread something and like they're like, oh, this is super safe, we've tested it, if you put this in your arm, you'll glow in the dark. I'd be like, lit.
You want to glow?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I feel like, and especially like the TikTok generation,
Yeah.
they're for it, I
Yeah.
think. The TikTokers,
The
Oh, yeah.
ravers.
they'll be like, yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna put chips in. They're gonna do whatever.
They're fucking
they're
eating
good.
Tide Pods already, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, licking toilets, like they'll
Right.
do it.
Oh,
They don't
dude.
care.
Oh my god. Yeah, I could see a future where like instead of a smartphone, we just see the shit in our eyes.
For sure.
You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or
That's a
what I
lot.
love, too?
That's a lot of trauma. I
Like the
feel.
goggles. Like I have an ex-friend who had these really cool goggles, VR goggles.
oh yeah, right.
And like I put them on, and then you go down in like a scuba tank, or in like a cage under the
Yeah.
sea, and then you see sharks and stuff. Like virtual
Oh,
reality.
weird.
That's pretty cool.
Virtual reality.
Yo, you know what the chip could do maybe? Because now I'm just going off.
He's on one.
All right, so say right now,
You guys are writers, so you're just gonna.
Yeah.
We're coming up with a story here.
Exactly. We had that virtual reality where Amy could put on the glasses, right? And she could see herself underwater. But she goes like this, she feels nothingness.
Right.
That breaks you out to me. What if the chip can make you feel the sensation that would match the virtual reality?
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That's we're done.
They kind of
Reality is
like,
not reality anymore then.
how when you have like virtual reality, like roller coaster rides,
Oh, yeah.
and it, like moves you about, and then you have the thing on.
Yeah, like,
Like at SeaWorld, they used to have an Arctic
yo,
ride.
like at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
They're those rides where you're just in a room and the chairs tilt a little bit
Yeah.
and they like spray water at you and blow air. And
Like the
Spray
4D.
smells.
yes, there is a limit to that right now, though. Because, like, I'll do that. We were in the, I forget what ride it was, but we were on one of those rides, and I was starting to,
me
like,
and
yeah.
Okay,
You don't remember?
go on.
At Universal?
I think it's the Shrek ride.
I think it might be the Minions. Or
Oh, I was gonna
Despicable
say
Me
Minions.
ride.
Oh,
We have a picture
okay.
from outside the ride.
So we're on the ride, and I had that moment where I was like, wait a second. We're in a room right now. This feeling is impossible, and it kind of broke me out, you know?
Don't think that's the problem with you. Go with it, you know?
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
All right, but chips and all that aside, where do you see the future of this series? Because what I always wonder about my shit is that it's a lot of energy and time to fund these campaigns, but it does bring dreams to life. So I always want to approach it realistically, where I know that, you know, sometimes the series might have a spike down the line and get more backers. Like, for example, Destiny New York Volume 2 got more backers than Volume 1 because they saw 2 volumes available. But then the further you go, like Volumes 3 and 4 hit very close to where 2 was, but a little bit less every time. Right, because you have people who drop off and new people coming in and getting all the old stuff. So, how long do you see yourself doing this specific series?
Give me 1 second. My mom's on the phone with my brother.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So how long? As of right now, I always wanted it to be an ongoing series and just keep going with it. But I do agree. I think there's always a stopping point, and I think just like the Invincibles, just like Walking Dead and stuff like that, you kind of know when your stopping point will come. I haven't gotten there yet, story-wise, at all, because we're only 6 issues in. But I do agree with if it goes down, like, what do you want to do? But I feel like if that's your passion project, then you could keep going with it. And obviously, if it's still profitable, if it's not profitable at all, then you should probably figure something out. But make sure it's profitable. But then also make sure you have other series. That way, I would say other mini series is really important. So you do have more of a beginning, middle, and end, or maybe even make graphic novels and stuff. So for me, I don't have an ending point yet, but I definitely see where you're coming from, because like, when do you stop? Do you feel like you're getting closer to that for you, or is it just...
No, and that's kind of the issue in that every volume of Destiny New York is around 200 pages, you know? So it's a lot of content, and my ideal is to go for 11, but we're at 4, and we're doing well at 4. So I'm just keeping an eye on how these things go, and thinking of how, if I need to get a bit of an earlier out, what volume would make sense for it. And I don't think I could do earlier than like 7 or 8, probably 8. But my dream is to go for 11. So, I mean, could you see yourself doing 100 issues of this?
Yeah, like story-wise, for
Yeah.
sure. There's story there. Profit and energy, that's another question. And also it depends, because for me, it took a little while to, get stuff done. And now we're in a place, luckily, that we're hoping for every 3 or 4 months that we'll launch a Kickstarter. So make it a little bit quicker, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know where Kickstarter is going. I think if it goes in a positive direction, sure. If it goes down, then there's also the ideas of pitching stuff around. But this isn't a book just like Destiny New York. I feel like I'm, not talking for you, but I guess like I don't want to pitch it around. Like I want that to be my own thing.
Yeah.
And you could pitch other stories around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, how he feels definitely about Destiny New York specifically, right?
Yeah, I feel this. I can't say when or who, but it will be out in single issues in collaboration with a publisher down the line. But as far as the graphic novels, I always think about this. Because I pitched around at first, I was close somewhere too. And it was going to be a full color 6-issue series. And to me, that would have been it probably. And that would be so much less ideal than what I have now. I mean, I've been able to produce almost 30 issues on my own. And yeah, I just know that if I would have gone the publisher route from the beginning, that they would have greenlit a certain amount. And then by the end of that amount, that would have really been it. And it would have taken the steam out, and I wouldn't have those future stories. Yeah.
And I think that's why miniseries are so much easier to just pitch to a publisher. A, it's easier to get accepted with a miniseries, and then B, it's just, it's not to say it's not your passion project, because miniseries can be, but it's not like an ongoing series. You're just like, all right, this is the story I want to tell, and then if they like it, you can make a sequel, and you could do that. So, yeah.
I could not agree more. That's always what I say when people ask me why I choose certain series to go on Kickstarter and why I choose publishers for some, is that I'll choose a publisher if I know for sure that the ending I have in mind for the first arc could be the ending. Because a publisher, you can't guarantee that it'll go further. Like Prison Witch, I wouldn't want it to end where Volume 1 ended. We could go on for a while. And Kickstarter, the power is a bit more in our hands to do that. Same with Destiny New York. There are certain one-offs like Modern Dread, Afterglow, Spooky Girls. Those were all things I could have done through publishers, but I saw a window for something that could stand alone and do well on Kickstarter for those, so I threw those in the schedule. And I think that those were fun projects to have as standalones, but those could have as easily been through a publisher. But Destiny New York, Prison Witch, Cloisters, I think had to start the way that they started on Kickstarter.
And with your other anthologies, like where you're talking about Modern Dread and all that, I feel like the genres kind of lived in Kickstarter too, a bit more, and that's why I think that's a great window. I think you also have to question that the Kickstarter audience, like we're kind of talking about before, the Kickstarter audience is very much like, we're about create our own comics, we love create our own comics, but also there's the webcomics audience that loves Kickstarter because they're already online, and so I feel like you also need to understand, again, it goes back to marketing. What is a traditional comic book company selling right now, and what is a Kickstarter selling, and where does your comic fit more, like your genre of your comic and all that fun jazz.
For sure. Yeah. Man, oh man, I had such a good question too that just slipped my mind. Oh man, I'm grasping for it. Fuck.
Sometimes when you do that, it gets further and further away.
Yeah, it is getting further away.
Yeah.
All right, but so say, oh, I know what it was. Ah, fuck. So today, FlameCon was canceled. It's one of the many, I mean, all over, but New York Con specifically, that has been canceled. And you grind the scene out. I see you probably at conventions more than any other fellow creator. We always run into you.
It's cool because that's how I feel like I like when Cass was like, have you met Kat before.
Yeah.
This morning, I was like, yeah, we see her all the time at conventions.
Yeah.
She's my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always nice to see you. Your mom is awesome and supportive and a hard worker for you.
She reminds me of Pat's mom.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, no, just what is your plan for conventions? Like, do you see this coming back soon? Or, I mean, to me, I think it's a wash for the whole year, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, fingers crossed for 2021 at this point. But yeah, it's just it's kind of crazy to see this market just kind of fall out from underneath us, you know?
It's so hard because, yeah, like you're saying, grinding the cons. And for me, that's, I make my revenue other places, but I make a lot of my revenue at cons too. And a lot of my fan base at cons because they see me and they, especially like the ComicUno connection. People are like, you make a comic? I'm like, yeah. And then also I always mention that in my videos, but yeah, I do make a comic. So it's nice to kind of have that personal connection. But I don't think we're going to get conventions, especially in New York. Maybe Baltimore. I hope they don't, I don't think they should.
Yeah.
But we already all put the money in. Hopefully they give you refunds. I have a lot of New York cons that have not canceled yet, which is kind of crazy. I'm just like, oh my God. But I hope for next year. But yeah, I don't think they should. And I do think creators need to figure out what to do if they don't have conventions. And it's funny because one of my friends, we were going to plan like a whole kind of con tour, I guess, because he just launched his Kickstarter and he's not as into the social media comic stuff. And he wanted to build a fan base. And I said, well, if you're not as good at social media, I think you could do cons because of your type of personality. And he's like, oh, cool. So we planned so many conventions. Yeah. And now all of them just got canceled. And he did well with his Kickstarter. He didn't like have any comic fan base or anything. He got 188 backers, which is good for like really just starting at nowhere for the fan base and making a new comic. So, but yeah, cons are very important and is a bloodline for indie creators. But I think to be safe, I hope they start next year, and that's it. I think they should cancel earlier, but I understand.
That's what I think too.
Canceling.
I really think that too, because I mean, so many of these shows have on their site, you can still buy table space, and it's a little frightening to me knowing that these cons that are putting in advertisement and have rented these spaces out, they're going to lose money on that. And I'm a bit worried that they're not going to be able to refund creators, you know? So
that's the big worry.
Yeah. I do hope that all these places just put a stop to it. Like that Florida show. I mean, it's coming up soon and it's still on. And they have some celebrities there like Kel from Keenan and Kel. Dude, what are you doing, man? You know? Like...
Abort.
Yeah, abort that mission. Like, I know that he needs that cash for that orange soda, but Jesus Christ. You know, just
he does have an addiction.
Yeah, just don't go. Just don't go. So yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I do hope for 2021 that things, you know, it's probably going to be until we have a vaccine that things kind of get back to a semblance of normal. But yeah, no, it's crazy. That's where I see you most is at conventions, and you're a big hustler there. You know, it's inspiring to watch your work ethic there, because I personally sometimes I don't really love conventions, and it is not as you said, it's in your friend's personality. I don't feel it is that my personality is conducive to doing shows, but watching you do it so well and so consistently definitely reminds me that this is part of the game and one thing that I have to do.
Thank you. Yeah, it's part of my personality, which it works out, but it also is very draining, which I don't think people understand. Just you meet a lot of different type of people, and sometimes people are rude, really rude, and you're just like, oh my God, and you have to have a smile on your face and be like, thanks for saying that. That's so really nice to you. Have a nice day. Or like you meet awesome people and you could talk for them forever, but then it's just like also realistically, you have to make sales too, and it's just like you have to have this balancing act, but also you're talking all day and you're selling and you're hustling, you're carrying boxes, and
it's physically
a lot
exhausting.
of people don't think of that other side at all.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure like by the end of the weekend, like your voice is sore, your legs are sore, you're always standing up, always walking around and stuff, and like just it's one thing to just like talk like this, but it's another thing to be in a loud convention room and always trying to be like on point. You know what I mean? It's exhausting for sure. I know how you feel.
Yeah, and there's definitely it's so much.
Basically, you have to yell.
And it's the people who come and talk to you forever with no intention of buying stuff.
Or people
or read in front of you the whole entire book, and sometimes they'll be like, "That was okay." And like, cool, thanks.
Oh.
Or they come and they like swear that this is their shot, and they bring you the entire book that like they wrote, or maybe like their whole idea, and they think
pitch
that
to you,
like you're gonna make them famous, and you're like, I'm working my ass off for me right now. Like, where do you think I'm at? You know, like.
Yep. Every time. Every time. So,
Every time.
Yeah.
And there's people that are like like people who say, I really want to be a writer. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You always want to give like feedback to that. And it's like, what have you written? Nothing.
Right.
I'm like, what do you plan on writing? Nothing. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you have to have something at least.
Yeah, it's so hard. And I mean, I've learned how to respond to this kind of thing. But it's hard not to be insulted, because imagine I went to the doctor's office, and as I'm getting a physical, I'm like, I've always thought about being a doctor. What tips would you give me? And she'd be like, go to school for 16 years, maybe? Start there? And I'm just like, people who don't really know what we do think that they could just like tack it onto their life so easily and so easily do what we do and match that success. Like,
or like they'll write one thing and it'll be their big break.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Their first draft, and they're just like, this is done. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's so good. I've had people also like come up to me and say, oh man, I want to make a TV show. Like, you should make a TV show out of your thing. And then I actually talk about like my TV background. I had one person who, I have a lot of weird people, but there's one person who I found out was like a party crasher. Like, that's what he did. He had a business card. I'm like, he looks fishy. So I looked up his name because he was just like really weird. And just the way he was talking, I'm like, all right, he's not a producer. Let me see. Yeah. And then I found out he was just like this ultimate infamous party crasher. And he got kicked out and like arrested at all these places. I'm like, I'm so happy I met him. That's great. Question mark.
It's a good thing you
just
followed
meet
your
so many
gut
weird
on
people.
That one.
That is crazy. Yeah, I mean, that reminds me, this is such a weird thing. Someone went to Camden Comic-Con, where I was boothing, and they collected everyone's business cards. And then they added all the businesses to a text chain
what?
called F-Tards. And
this tortured you for like years.
Oh, yeah. It was... I felt like a lab rat. Because what they would do is they'd add your name to a text chain called F-Tards, and then they would just like put strange pictures, like disturbing pictures, nothing like bloody or anything, but they would put a picture of like a grandma with like shorts a little too short, and just like...
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like really weird, random.
Yeah, just over and over again. And I would block the chain and remove myself, and then immediately added to a new one. There was like 26 different chains they were torturing these business owners. And I blocked every single number in the chain, including the business owners.
Blocking a new number like every day and a half.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't hear for months, and then all of a sudden, a few months later, F-Tards again. A new thing,
Haunting you.
Crazy.
That's PTSD right there. That's
so funny.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And what kind of like, this is crazy, but I felt a bit of Stockholm syndrome, because toward the end, I was like, all right, so I can't get out of this loop. They're going to keep me in here. So now what I'm going to do is fuck with them back. And I'm going to send them weird stuff. And then I was like, wait a second. What if the people sending weird stuff are the people who were like me before? It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a nightmare.
That's what's so like strange about conventions. I don't think people like think of. It's just like because you are meeting so many different people, and honestly, like 90% of the people you're meeting are wonderful and awesome. But then there's that 10% that you'll have a story. Like I have like probably 25 plus stories about the strange. Every convention I go to, there's at least 2 or 3 strange stories that happen.
Oh, yeah.
And like, you're not treated as a human being sometimes. Like, I guess as a writer, you're always like, sometimes like you're talked to like you're not a human being.
Yeah.
But especially at conventions, it's weird. You're physically seeing someone and you still feel like you're not treated like you wouldn't say that to someone else.
Yes.
Totally.
Very, very much so.
People go and they're in like convention mode, you know? It's like no filter sometimes.
Yeah. My last question for you is you mentioned ComicUno, and that's your YouTube channel and your personality on YouTube. Talk a little bit about the channel, and also just, I've always wondered where that name comes from and where you got that moniker.
Yeah, so channel I've been doing since I think I was in 10th grade of high school. I'm 25 now, so it's been about like 10 years I've been doing that channel. And I don't know if you ever been on Comic Vine, like that that website. I used to do it because like they used to have like video reviews and stuff, and me and my friend wanted to do video reviews, like, hey, like, can we do reviews too? And like, yeah, sure, put it on YouTube and, you know, put it on our blog or whatever. So we did, and to this day, this is still my best friend, but there was a time where he's like, oh, I don't want to do comic reviews anymore. Like, he doesn't like comics anymore. So I'm like, oh, well, and we used to call ourselves Comic Duo because it was the 2 of us. And I used to say, well, I can't make a Comic Uno. That'd be crazy. And then I'm like, I guess I could make a Comic Uno.
Yeah.
And that's where Comic Uno came from, because it was originally Comic Duo.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I was like, is it the card game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just love the card game. I am a beast at it now.
No, that's an even better story, though. I like that.
Oh, I wish. Like, yeah, I make money off of, like, Uno card games, like, on the side. That would be definitely the better version of what the story actually is.
No, your story's better. I like
you think?
I like your play
definitely.
on words.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for
I was
play
a
on
really
words.
smart 15-year-old.
Yeah, that's so
so
funny.
good.
Yeah. And I like, too, that your channel, when you're talking about comics, even if you don't like a comic, you're always very positive. And I find that sometimes, YouTube, kind of in the past 3 or 4 years, generally, if you look up a comic book review, it's a lot of guys who are angry, who are just like flipping through a comic that they hate to hate it. And I don't really like the whole hate watching or hate reading thing. So I like that you're just always positive about comics on YouTube, and that is something that I think is sorely needed, and that you do a great job on there.
Thank you. Yeah, I try. It's also kind of crazy to see that there's not like a lot of female comic YouTubers. Like, it's really, I don't know if there is any others. And I don't know if I'm just saying that, but I don't know of any others.
Yeah.
And I still think that's kind of crazy. Like, if I go on a chat that's a comic YouTube thing, I will never see a girl, ever.
That is crazy.
That is wild.
I hope more comic YouTubers and more girls get into comic YouTubers. I will say, like, if there is a girl, they usually just stay on for a short amount of time, which I hope it's not because of, like, people being jerks. But, yeah, they usually are just there for a very small amount of time, and then you never see them again.
Yeah, well, I hope that your channel stays for a long time, and that you keep doing this, because you do an awesome job. Do you have any more questions?
No, it was just really, really nice to see you, and thanks so much for coming on. And good luck with the Kickstarter, and everybody go check out the Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah, we'll put a link in the description for that. And also, where can people follow you?
ComicUno. No, ComicUno, everywhere pretty much. So Twitter is probably where I'm most active. I'm also on Facebook under ComicUno, and my name if you wanted to friend me. I'm usually pretty active there. And I'm not active on Instagram, sadly. So, but I do have one. It's Cat ComicUno. Then YouTube is ComicUno Hating Claire Heroes.
How about TikTok?
Oh, I have to get into that. I have to do some TikToks. I actually don't have the app on my phone. So I gotta look at some TikToks before to see what obviously you know what it is.
I can't even begin to. I tried and I deleted it.
Hold on. I'll do this really quick. I'll show you how I would promote my work on TikTok. I'm gonna just one sec. Just find this here.
Oh God, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, you'll see this in a second.
I'm scared.
It's coming up.
I'm ready.
Bang. Destiny, New York. Covers.
Does it have songs in the background?
Yeah, hold on. About to do it. There we go. All right. So I would put that in the background, and then here's how I would do it. Can you give me a beat?
That was beautiful TikTok. That's viral right now.
What are all those
I'm gonna
dancing
steal
moves?
it.
I used to think I was like a decent dancer because I was in musical theater and I could like learn a dance and I took dance classes and everything. Like I cannot fucking learn one of those hip hop YouTube TikTok dances for the life of me.
No, I mean those aren't.
For the life of me. I cannot shake my ass.
But those dances aren't that good though, you know.
I think they're great.
You do
My
for real?
favorite is Baby Goth's ones.
Oh my god, I cannot watch those. You know.
I'll watch them for you.
I know you will. Okay, but all right, that is a wrap. My cat here looks so beautiful.
You're welcome.
This cat was shattered by me, and Amy fixed it, put it back
Pat
together.
threw it on the floor one day.
Whoa! I dropped it by mistake. And
That looks awesome. It
Check
looks
this
new.
out, Kat. So, God, this background fucking blows.
whoa!
That's,
No,
You can't
that's TikTok for you.
You can't see it,
Yes,
but now
yes, you
you
can.
kind of can the cracks. But I actually did quite a good job. It's like a puzzle, except for there's one piece missing still.
put it in front of me, so you can see it. There we go. Hold on here.
This is a great podcast.
This is a great podcast.
Oh, okay. I see the missing piece now. But still, man, that's so good.
I think you did an
Thank
amazing
you.
job.
Notice
I can't.
that.
I bet I vacuumed the piece up already.
I love you.
I love you too.
Aw.
Thank you for making it for me. All right. Yeah, thank you for doing this. That was awesome. This has been episode 101.
It's the
Boom.
Shans plus Kat.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us.
Totally.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to kick you out, okay?
Okay, bye.
All
Soon,
right, 3,
bye.
2, 1, bye.
Bye. See ya.
You fucked that up. 3, 2, 1.
Hold on. Look, my head has like a little white spot over it.
That's the thing. It's not a very good like green screens.
It makes it...
It's good enough.
You
though.
denigrated this cover, though. This is a beautiful cover, see?
I know. I love it.
Thanks for doing this with me.
That was good.
Do you feel that you did a good job?
Do you?
Yes.
Then yeah.
Because at first you were worried, like you didn't feel prepared for
I'm
it.
just having an off day.
But then, really?
Yeah.
But you came through.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. What can I do to make your day more on?
I'm just chilling.
Great. Anyway, I still love you.
Love you too. End it. Beeb. Space between.